Hello and welcome to the Ohio Arts Council's Rife Gallery DIY Hands-on Art Making Workshop for the Quilt National 2025 exhibition with artist Shelley Brenner Baird. Today, we're going to explore a creative approach to textile art as an extension of this exhibition. We'll hear first from the artist, gather our materials, and then work through the project step by step. Feel free to press pause and work at your own pace using this video as you need. All right, welcome, Shelley.
Hi, Kat. Thanks for inviting me. My name is Shelley Brenner Baird, and I'm an artist in Columbus, Ohio. As you can see, I've always been interested in art, evidence on that photo on the left. My undergraduate studies were in printmaking, printmaking, painting, and drawing at Indiana University. But then I got a master's degree in photography from the Ohio State University. So during all those studies, I never saw textile as an art until this happened. I was at a swim meet watching my children, and a friend and I decided we needed fresh air. I said there was a strangely named street called Dairy Lane. This is in Athens, Ohio, and I wanted to go see some cows. And we went for a walk and saw this building, and a bunch of people outside went in, and it was a Quilt National, and it was incredible and beautiful. And it wasn't until 10 years later that I started any sort of textile studies. I found this community called Quilt Surface Design Symposium, and for 2 weeks over a course of 20 years, every year, that is, I studied surface design, color theory, printing on textiles, all kinds of textile techniques with them. And it was a wonderful cooperative sharing process. The teachers were totally willing to give you the secret ingredients to their recipes. And what's funny is I was fortunate to actually be exhibited at the Dairy Barn several times over the years in different sorts of exhibits, including Quilt National. So, Quilt National's definition of a quilt is that it must be predominantly fiber or fabric-like, composed of at least two layers. It used to be three, so they've loosened it up. And it can be pieced, appliqued, whole cloth, or stitched. And we're just going to stitch and fuse today. You can do the other stuff later if you like to. And it says here they must be held together by stitches. But again, we're not doing that today. We're going to approach this like a collage. And I always thought that quilts were like collages. And collage defines a lot of my work over the years and throughout all my processes. In fact, off to the right, you're seeing a little detail of my studio wall, which you could say is a collage of itself. So, after doing all that academic stuff, and I taught for a while, I did some graphic design work. And ironically, my graphic design work all looked like collages. And fortunately, the clients were all fine with that. Then eventually, I decided I wanted to give myself my own assignments. And one of the ways I work was like this. So, this is a big collage that I'd made. And eventually, once I found my way into the textile world, I started approaching my textiles like collages. Excuse me. So the process that you see here is kind of what you're going to do today, but on a really small scale just to get you started. But recently, I've been making my collages out of yard signs after the elections, and unfortunately, they can never be entered in Quilt National because I can't stitch them because since they're vinyl, it would perforate them and they would fall apart. But I'm going to get you started on a project today so you can just get some basic information, some concepts, and go with it later as you wish. But you'll need some supplies. So you're going to need background material. And I'd say let's work 9 by 12 inches just to keep it simple. And your material that you're going to use called Light Steamacine 2 is a fusible web. And those sheets are 9 by 12, so that'll make it easy. Then you're going to need other material to build your design. And you'll need scissors and a marker. And if you happen to have a cutting mat and a rotary cutter and that acrylic ruler you see there, you can use those. If you've never used them before, they're great tools to have, and you can go online and watch a YouTube about how to use a rotary cutter. So the first thing you're going to do is decide on a design for your piece, draw a rough sketch, and keep it simple, and select pieces of fabric. So here I did my kindergarten draw your hand design, and then I picked a background, which is that pink stuff, and I picked my manicure and my jewelry. And then what you'd have to do next is draw each part of your design on the fabric piece with a marker and then cut it out, leaving about a 1/4 inch border, just rough cut. Then you pull out the steam seam. So the steam seam is going to look like two pieces of tracing paper with something sticky inside. And you remove the top layer of the steam seam, and it'll be obvious which is the really sticky side, and you place it sticky side up. Then you take all that fabric that you had rough cut and lay it on top of the sticky side of the adhesive sheet. And then you gently smooth it into position. But now you want to cut your shapes precisely for your design. And so you use either the rotary cutter if you have it, if you're making straight lines, or just scissors. So you see, I just rough cut those. Then here I'd fine tune the cutting, and the trickiest part is peeling off the paper off the back of the steam seam because it's double-sided and that's your backing paper. And you can use your fingernails usually work. Occasionally you need your tweezers. And one little hint I have for you is once you've figured out your design, take a photograph on your phone because once you peel everything off and it's laying around, you might forget what your original plan was. So all you have to do is lay these pieces, these sticky pieces, on top of your substrate or your background material and hand press them into place. Um, and it is repositionable until you've ironed it, which is really cool. So I could have changed my manicure around had I wanted to. Um, so then once you've decided, you kind of hand press it into position, then you steam press it 10 to 15 seconds using paper fabric cover sheet, and you can iron it from the back also, especially if you have lots of layers. So make sure it's adhered. And there you go. There you go. There's my hands. Now, here's what I did in the workshop. I just used this as my reference, and I followed the same process we just went through with cutting out the shapes and putting it on the steam seam and adhering it to my substrate. And I want to show you, what I want to do is show you, give you some inspirations and other ways of working because there's so many different directions you can take this in. And I want you to apply this to your own thought process, your own designs, your own ideas. But I'll show you a few interesting things here. This is by Jenny Smith, and Jenny makes these quirky little drawings and paintings of these characters, and then she translates them into fabric. And in this case, these are stitched or hand sewn, but you could do the exact same thing using that steam seam. It would just be a flat surface. Then Sue Benner, who teaches a lot of workshops using fusible web as a process, think about if you want to just work in abstraction. You don't have to have a reference or an actual object to illustrate. And so here she's built up these rectangles of fabric and fused them and hand stitch, or not hand stitch, machine stitch, sorry. Or else you could take the same concept and take a representational object as she did here and make your abstraction of that using different fabrics. And in this case, you can take the piece that you're going to do from what I'm showing you today. You could take a piece of backing fabric, some batting, and machine stitch it if you want. It adds a different element, I think. It's sort of a little sketch over top of it. So you have a little tiny quilt. Or don't bother stitching at all. On the left, this is one that I made just using an old drop cloth and using the fusible web for one self-portrait. And on the right, you see the same kind of thing, only in this case, it was hand stitched. And so you do get that texture from the batting, but I could have done that flat also. Or you can embellish if you want to. I started with that simple piece up there, and then I used beads and sequins and buttons and embroidery floss and all kinds of stuff. So these are just random bunch of directions you can take. You don't even have to make it a flexible textile piece. In this case, I made a collage out of small pieces that I'd screened and I adhered it to a wooden artist panel. In this case, it's mixed media where I took a piece of fabric that I had screen printed and painted, and then I took a painting that I had done on cloth and threw a photograph on top of it. Think about alternate materials and repurposing materials. You can actually make your own fabric, taking fabric markers and painting and drawing on white fabric. There's no more Joann's fabric, but the thrift store is a great resource for materials because you can get all kinds of things like sheets and clothing and cut that up. And this actually, okay, this is a funny story. These painters were painting in my house, and I saw their drop cloths, asked if I could buy them. They looked at me like I was crazy, said, "Lady, you can have them." And I turned it into an 11-part series called The Importance of Scars. And these are actually two-sided, so you can work two-sided also. Your work um, you can do that easily if used from both sides. And the other thing about this process, you can do it with paper. And this is paper that I screen printed some images onto, and then I just collaged the rest using Steam-A-Seam and adhered it to an artist panel. Here's the class. It was really a lot of fun. Everybody worked pretty hard. And you can see them on the left. And then on the right, the thing that I love about this is I brought the fabric. So everybody had the same fabric from which to choose. And everybody's color scheme was different. Everybody's approach was different. And that's one of the things I really like about art too, is that there are all kinds of ideas in all kinds of ways. And that's why I want you to go ahead and take this in your own direction, applying it to whatever works for you. And I always have to leave you with this quote. There's so much confusion about what we mean when we use the word art. I have a recommendation. We eliminate the word art and replace it with work. That's Milton Glaser, a graphic designer. So now you guys can get to work. This is me. There's my website. I post on Instagram occasionally. And, whoops, I'm having trouble getting to there. Oops, sorry. There we go. I wanted to give you some resources, and um, here's a whole list of them. There are a lot more, but these are just some that I thought I'd give you to look into. So thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us for this DIY hands-on art making workshop led by Shelley as a part of our programming for Quilt National 2025. This exhibition was produced and circulated by the Dairy Barn Art Center in Athens, Ohio. I'd like to give a special thank you to Shelley for the generosity of her time and talent, as well as to the Ohio Arts Council's board, the Ohio legislature, and the governor, all who support the Ohio Arts Council, this great space, and of course, Ohio artists. Thank you and have a great day.